Welcome all. Welcome to the Five Rivers podcast. My name is Sandeep Misra, and I'm one of the co-founders of Heald. And I am super excited about today's session, today's talk. And I have Daniel Dent with me on the podcast. We've got the Alabama logo in the back. We're going to ignore that for a little bit. We were talking about sports right before we started the conversation. Me as a Jayhawk don't really have much to talk about when it comes to football, but I can talk circles about basketball. But that's for a later time. Daniel, welcome to the show. And just a little bit about Daniel. Daniel, I want you to introduce yourself to our listeners as well. But I've had a chance to look at some of your work that you've done, and what I absolutely love is that the content that you're creating, the message that you're trying to get out, is more about do what you can in order to fix your health rather than do this massive prescription based regimen, program, whatever the heck you want to call it, that is sometimes really hard to stick to. So I truly appreciate that. I've enjoyed watching some of your YouTube videos, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. But today we'll talk about some practical hacks that people can use on a day-to-day basis to manage their blood sugar, to be healthy. But before we get into any of that, Daniel, please introduce yourself to our listeners. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yes, sir. First, I want to just thank you for the opportunity to, just allow me time to talk to the audience and, just give more information on, managing your blood sugar. So, first off, my name is Daniel Dent. I am a certified personal trainer, also a certified nutrition coach, and also a corrective exercise specialist. Now, my background is working with those with type 2 diabetes, especially in health coaching. And in the past, I've been a part of maybe 3 different diabetes prevention programs. And, this was something that I really wanted to learn more about, especially early on, to bring more value to my health coaching meetings. So by me learning more about diabetes, that just helped me out with, talking to other people, empowering them, and also just helping them manage their blood sugars.
Daniel, let me ask you this. You mentioned something about from your experience perspective or your work. I think it's you use the term corrective exercise, right? If I capture it correctly,
That's correct.
what does that mean? What does that entail?
Really, that entails correcting your technique, your posture when it comes to, exercising. I know a lot of people within the gym setting or just outside setting, whatever, they would do exercises and just to sweat, and which is good, which I promote. But we want to make sure we're doing it the right way, the correct way, and also ways to prevent injury. So that's
Yeah.
why I got into corrective exercise, just to give people those cues as I coach them.
Interesting. It's funny you say that because as I have gotten older, I know I don't look much old, but as I've gotten older with exercise, I've started to notice that the posture has become a lot more important, right? And the amount of load we put on our, for example, joints as we're getting older, it has to be managed in the right manner. And if you do the exercise the proper way, yeah, you might be sore. Yeah, you might feel that you're working out or you're lifting the weights as you should. But for the most part, what you don't want to do is get injury or get some sort of pain that is not natural outside of the exercise that you're doing at that point. So I find it very I find it very interesting that when I was younger, I could care less, man. I mean, hey, if I'm doing a dumbbell press or a barbell press, chest press, or something like that, man, I'm going heavy on the weights. I could care less about the posture, right? The right way to do it. But now I've started to pay attention, so it's interesting that you say that. I think it is important. Um,
Yeah.
let's set this up for our audiences, right? And in our perspective, what we see and what in our research, what we have huge psychological research and behavioral research as well. When most people, when they think about the blood sugar management, for example, they often think, "Hey, man, I got to go on a heavy diet, or I got to be very restricted in how I live, how I go about my daily life." what are some of the, since you work with adults, since you have worked with a lot of type 2 diabetics as well, what are some of the most common misconceptions that you come across as a trainer and even as an educator for that matter?
The most common misconception I came across was the one shoe fit all type of approach
Mm,
when it comes to like conditions or just even your lifestyle. I think a lot of people don't consider their day to day, like their work, what type of work
mm,
you do, how much sleep you're getting throughout the day, your social support, your stress management. So those different aspects to your lifestyle really plays a big part on you know um, creating something that fits you and fits the
mm,
client, instead of that one shoe fit all type of approach. Because I mean, who's that perfect person who got it right? And we can't compare ourselves to this person who created this diet, this regimen. Our lifestyle will be completely different.
mm, mm. It's interesting you say that because I find it funny, almost funny that if our taste buds don't even react to the food in the same manner, like you might eat something that you might go, man, that's spicy or not spicy. I might react complete opposite, right? So even if our taste buds are not reacting in the same manner as the next individual, then why is it that the plans that you use, the strategies that you use, the program that you use, they're going to be the same? So I couldn't agree with you more about the one size fits all approach. We actually have started the way we explain our program to a lot of people. What we deliver the biggest value is, rather than a one size fits all approach, we look at it as a size of one approach. That
Mm,
you, Daniel, as an individual, is Daniel as an individual, and
right.
how you were raised. What sort of food did you grow up on? To your point, what sort of work do you do? Those are all individual contributing factors. So for me, if somebody is really active and has a job that requires a lot of moving, a lot of walking, a lot of running, and I give them a program that involves more working out to control their blood sugar, it's going to have zero impact. If maybe a little bit, it's maybe the nutrition side that needs to be
Mm,
looked at. So I really do, I do see that the one size fits all is very it's pointless for the most part. Now, when
yeah.
you work with your clients, when you work with some of the folks that come to you for help, how do you explain the connection to them between their daily habits? So from the minutest of the smallest habits, like parking your car a little bit farther or a little bit closer, or taking the steps, or the simple tasks of having a bottle of water, whatever the case might be, rather than walking to the kitchen and getting it to get some movement. How do you explain to them the connection between the daily habits and overall blood sugar, blood glucose in this case?
One thing I always try to mention to my clients is a little is a lot.
Mm,
So a lot of people, when they get into changing up their regimen
mm,
or their lifestyle, they want to make a drastic type of change, and a lot of people cannot keep up with that type of change. So I like to say a little is a lot, because changing one little habit can play a big role in what you see in your blood sugar numbers. I mean,
mm,
for example, for a person to just add water into their regimen, drinking more water,
mm.
that can really contribute to really managing that blood sugar a little bit better.
Got it, got it. That I love that. I love that phrase. A little is a lot. I'm gonna try to use it. I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit for coming up with that. But no, that's true. So I appreciate that candor. And so to me, it sounds like what we just discussed from your perspective. hey, don't use the one size fits all approach, and a little is a lot when it comes to trying to make changes. Which
Mhm.
brings me up to my next point, which brings me up to my next question to you from your expertise, is starting off with the morning. Let's break the day down into these, three different or four different areas, morning, afternoon, evening, night, or whatever the case might be.
Okay.
Let's start with the morning. The good start, I'm assuming, is the best way to do it. So give me two or three simple hacks that folks can use, listeners can put into action to help them to lower their blood glucose levels.
Okay. So if I was to start off my morning time, the first thing I would do is rehydrate myself
Mm,
with water. You got to think about it. We went maybe 5 to 8 hours without drinking any type of fluid. So naturally, our bodies are more dehydrated.
mm,
Instead of picking up coffee or drinking any type of juice that's with added sugar, let's try, let's do water. Let's get this blood circulating a little bit better in our body. So that will be my first start,
mm,
which is just drinking more water. Then after that, if you do decide to break your fast, the types of food that you do choose, I mean that plays a big part into it as well. So if I was to break my fast a little earlier, I would start off with some type of lean protein. That can be like your turkey, chicken, or grass fed type of beef, or maybe eggs,
mm,
some type of lean protein to help satisfy you a little bit better in the morning time. Because when you start your morning with being satisfied, it just helps you make better decisions throughout
mm,
the whole day. Now, if I was to pair it with some type of fruit, I want to go with fruits that's more lower on the GI, the glycemic index. So this can be like your berries. So
mm,
your blackberries, your cherries, blueberries, strawberries. The fruit that has a sour but a sweet taste to it. That's a little bit more on the lower glycemic. And I'll pair that together, as my breakfast to really just help me make better decisions throughout the whole day.